this is, but we're gonna go with it. But yeah, welcome back to my YouTube channel, guys. I hope you've all had the best week, and I hope you enjoyed last week's video, even though wasn't quite the result we wanted. Now, we will get into all the details on that in a moment. But until then, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed, guys. I mean, come on, get subscribing. Make sure you follow all of my socials, because that is where I mostly am. I'm always on my socials, so if you pop a little comment, I will more than likely reply to you. But yeah, make sure you do that. And yeah, I mean, let's get into the shambles game that it was, shall we? I have to admit, guys, I was not expecting that. Like, I was not expecting the result that we got. Like, where did that even come from? Like, I was tempted to let things settle a little bit and maybe shoot this video next week, because I know, like, when we lose a big game like that to our biggest rivals, I know that emotions can be quite heightened, you know? Like, we could be all in our feels, we could be very emotional, especially after a bad result I'm not even gonna say the name. So I was tempted to just leave it and just let it lie for a little bit, but then I thought, do you know what? Let's do the video, because we need to talk about it. Like, we need to discuss it. So here we are. Now, I honestly don't think we should let one bad result, like, define our season, because all it was one bad result. And we have to believe and stick with the manager that he will get things right in time. Like, I do believe it's just one of those games, so we can't let it define us, guys. Like, the game itself was an absolute horror show. Like, I do believe it was both the players and the manager. Like, they are both to blame here. If you look at the game, right, like if you look at the stats, for example, there didn't appear to be much in it. Like, Liverpool got 3 shots on target. 3 shots on target. Whilst we had composure in front of the goal. Like, we didn't take any of our chances. Yet, they get 3 shots on target, they get 3 goals. That is the difference. In big games, we need to take chances. You need to take risks. You need to just go for it. But, however, the stats do only tell part of the story. Like, we were just miles off of it on Sunday. We were so lucky that we only lost 3-0. Because I honestly don't know how we didn't lose more. Like, it was an absolute horror show. In my opinion, Ten Hag set us up badly again. He left us open to the counter far too often. Liverpool knew it was coming. Like, they pressed us in our half. Casemiro in particular. And they just kept pushing us down the wing. Far too often, the fullbacks were caught up the pitch. And Liverpool, they just had an overload of attackers. Like, what was that about? But it's also not the first time that that's happened either. Like, he needs to make a tweak in that kind of system, or he will probably end up losing his job if he doesn't make some tweaks. Like, he needs to do that. There are too many managers that are now working us out. And that is definitely a manager problem. Like, it is Ten Hag's problem, unfortunately. The best managers can adapt both, like in game and in training. I just feel like he also got the subs wrong. But that can happen. Like, we see it all the time, like you can get the subs wrong, but I just feel like sometimes they either go for you or they can go against you. And I definitely feel in this case, they went against him. Don't even get me started on Onana. I thought he could have definitely have done better with at least 2 of the goals. There's just something about there's just something very unsettling about his style, like the way he likes to play. It's so difficult to pinpoint exactly what it is, but there's just too many occasions where he just looks so clumsy on his line and is way out of position. The third goal in particular, Salah basically had the entire goal to aim at. What is that about? Onana was basically glued to the right-hand post. His positioning was way off, and Salah just passed it into the net, just that easily. So, I'm not gonna lie, but he is a very big worry for me. Yes, De Gea had his time, but a year on, and I'm still not convinced on Onana. I honestly thought he was going to be an upgrade to De Gea because unfortunately, like, his time finished, whatever. And I thought the way that we got rid of De Gea, not great. But maybe Onana is going to be something brilliant, something that we need. But yeah, I was out working out for us there. The reason he was brought was because apparently he was good with his feet. Now, I'm not so convinced on that. He's good with his feet. Yeah. Not sure. And Dallo. He stood off Salah and made no attempt to close him down. Like, he just made no attempt. He was able to then dribble towards our 18-yard box on his favourite foot. There was just no pressure as he put the ball in for Diaz. He done the exact same at Brighton last week. He stood off Pedro for the first goal. He just let him swing the cross in without closing down the space. So yeah, I think he needs to do a little bit more work in training. Oh boy, let's talk about Casemiro. Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? He had an absolute nightmare. Like, an absolute nightmare in the first half. Like, no matter how you prepare the shape and the tactics, neither the manager or his teammates could predict he would have had 2 moments of madness. Like, what was going on in his head? The first goal, right? The ball he had been trying to play, well, that was never on. And the second, wow. The sight of him during the replays just helplessly trying to grab the ball with his hand once he was on the ground just sums it up. It was just horrible to watch. And unfortunately, Ugarte needs time to get up to speed. I don't actually think he's played since July. So, yeah, great. But he's needed so badly. Like, we need him. Casemiro needs to be removed from the starting 11. And I used to love Casemiro, and no shade to him, I still love him, but unfortunately, yeah, you get where I'm going with that. Once again, unfortunately, Bruno was letting his emotion control him during the game. Not even during the game, but during most of the game. He needs to just learn to take control and lead like a captain. He needs to remember that he does set the standards for the players. So if he's not in control and he's letting his emotions get the better of him, then what are the rest of the team like going by? They're going by him and how he's reacting. So naturally it's going to rub off on them. There were just like going on to the game. There were just moments during the second half in particular where he was just basically chasing shadows. Like, he was just trying to close people down. And if we're going to press, well then it needs to be a coordinated effort. And he should only be going when his teammates are also pressing. When he does it on his own like that, all he is doing is leaving a gap for the opposition to play through. There were also a couple of occasions where he would have usually slipped a teammate in, but his passing was just a little off, or he made the wrong choice. But either way, it just summed up the day. So yeah, you couldn't make it up. And Rashford, although he was quiet for most of the game, he was actually our most creative player on that day. He put in 2 brilliant balls for Xerxes. Still trying to figure out how to say that. And on another day, he scores with that. I also thought that he should have been the one to make way for Ahmad, because then it could have given Garnacho a chance to play in his favourite position on the left. But in all honesty, you could have benched anyone that day without a single argument. I feel like Xerxes still doesn't look that sharp. I mean, it is a little harsh to write him off already, especially when he is getting into quite a lot of good positions. Like, he has shown some promise, so we can't really go and write him off right now. He is still learning, like, to play with his new teammates as well. It kind of did sum that up when there was a moment in the first half. I think we all know what I'm talking about. It kind of did show that he is still trying to learn how to play with his new teammates. Unfortunately, Garnacho played the ball into an area where he expected Xerxes to be, but unfortunately, he was nowhere to be seen. I don't feel like he had the legs to keep up with the breaks. Like, he was still in midfield. He was still making his way back from midfield. So, kind of said it all. But also, on that note, Garnacho, he had an off day as well. Alongside Mainu. They were just both very quiet Sunday. And anything they, tried to do, it just didn't come off. It was just one of those off days. And like I said, we were very lucky to only have got beaten by 3-0. I genuinely thought it was going to be an absolute destroyer watching the game. On a positive note though, Dilly, well, he played really well, didn't he? Like, his first start, and he played so well. I was so impressed with him. I was literally watching him like, go on, Dilly. He just looked so calm and so composed. He just looks like a very good addition to the squad, especially a good addition to the defence. And hopefully we'll get to see a lot more of him in the weeks to come. Unfortunately now though, we have got an international break. I hate international breaks, especially going into them on bad results. I'm pretty sure it was the same last time after the Arsenal away game. Like, you were just left to feel deflated for a couple of weeks, and that is not a nice feeling. But then again, hopefully it will give some of the players a bit of a break and maybe some time to get a little bit fitter and get a little bit sharper. I mean, Højlund has been such a big miss. And he is rumoured to be back after the break, so fingers crossed that we'll hopefully be seeing him and Ugarte later this month. Like, we need Højlund, Ugarte and Shaw. Those are the 3 players we need, and hopefully from there you will see a difference. I would even take just a little bit of a difference. You know what I mean? Now that I've done my little rants and we've gotten over the, Liverpool game, we can now talk about something a little bit positive, the Europa League. Obviously, the draw for the Europa League has just taken place. Since my last video anyway. And to be honest with you, it's looking like quite a decent draw. So I would be surprised if we didn't progress. There are quite some tasty games in there. Like, we've got Rangers at home, and we've also got trips to both Portugal and Turkey. So they should be great away games as well. Typically though, we have been drawn against Jose, but nevertheless, I do feel like the Europa League's looking quite promising if we can get back to being a bit sharper. And lastly, what I am going to cover is FPL. Oh my, I don't even want to talk about it because, let's face it, I had an absolute nightmare. I decided to change my captain from Haaland to Saka. Why did I do that? I literally did it at the last minute, and boy did that backfire. I genuinely thought that Man City might struggle against West Ham, and I fully expected Arsenal to beat Brighton. But that didn't quite work out now, did it? It was genuinely going so well before Rice got his red card, and by the way, it was never a red card. Like, it was so harsh. And Haaland, well, he's looking a bit like a must-have this season, isn't he? I think I'm going to have to set him as my captain. I also went with Martinez at the back instead of Alexander-Arnold. Again, another huge mistake. Oh well, what can you do though? My own stupidity cost me around 20 points. So yeah, as you can see, I was so happy at the weekend. My loyalty to Bruno is also being very tested at the minute. He did say, bear with me, FPL people, but he is not making it very easy for me to do that. But I am going to leave him in there for like the next game week. So we'll see how that one goes. And that is only because it is Southampton away. And I fully expect, though I'm even bothering saying this, but I do fully expect us to get a result there. But if he does blank, then unfortunately, he is gone. And that is not my fault, that is a him problem. I've only got 2 free transfers in the bank. So I am tempted to use them and bring Salah in. He has 2 good fixtures at home coming up. So I'll see how the international break goes. But until then, guys, we have come to the end of this YouTube video. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. We always knew that this was going to be a little bit ranty, a bit more like frustration purely because of the result, and my FPL has taken a so yeah, I mean, it is good to have different kind of videos though, right? So there we go. I will be back next week for a Southampton preview. So do remember, guys, back the team, back the manager, and keep the faith right now. Like, it's not the end of the world right now. We're still at the beginning of the season. So hopefully the manager will get it right and we will be in for a very good season. If there is anything that you guys want to see me talk about, or you have any questions or topics or whatever, then don't forget, guys, pop it in the comments and I will try to cover them in next week's video. So feel free to get involved, start engaging, and whatever else you guys want to do. But yeah, if you're enjoying my videos, guys, please make sure you give me a thumbs up, and please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed, guys. I mean, come on. And I hope you all have a fantastic week. Like, thank you for watching. Have a great week. Make sure you follow all of my socials as well. And I do look forward to seeing you all in my next YouTube video, guys. Thank you so much.